Hey everybody, Jeff Antoniuk here from Jazzwire. Welcome to Guided Listening. So we're going to be listening to a fantastic song written by Duke Ellington called Angelica. And this is from the classic Coltrane and Duke Ellington album. So if you don't know about it, it's pretty interesting. It's those two great gentlemen, Duke Ellington and John Coltrane. And about half the tunes are with Elvin Jones and Coltrane's rhythm section, and then the other half are with Ellington's rhythm section. Really, really beautiful stuff. And here's the thing. I'm going to ask you a question. When's the last time you played jazz for 3 days in a row, 2 days in a row? When's the last time you played jazz for 8 hours? Thought about jazz, really focused on it. That sounds crazy, doesn't it? That's what we're doing at the Winter Summit coming up January 29 through February 2nd. We do it online. We do it on Zoom. I know it sounds like that couldn't possibly be fun or fruitful. We've done hundreds and hundreds of hours of this sort of teaching with folks all around the world. So wherever you're located, and the idea is we're working together with myself, Steve Herberman on guitar, Chase Sanborn up in Toronto, fantastic educator, trumpet player. And so we'll be working with you, and we have folks attending at all levels. And again, like imagine that 3 days in a row where you get to think about and play and talk about and vibe with jazz and great teachers. It's, it is so powerful. It's life-changing. And I hope you'll be there with us. And now, because, this guided listening hooks up with the workshop, we're going to be focusing on 4 Coltrane tunes and 4 Ellington tunes. Let's see if I can remember. The Coltrane tunes, 26-2 and Giant Steps, 2 really kind of heady ones. And then we're going to do Central Park West and Equinox. So in those 4 songs, there's going to be challenging stuff for the most advanced players out there, and there's going to be accessible stuff for folks less advanced, more novice, maybe brand new to jazz. And of course, we divide you up inside the workshop. Coltrane tunes, we're going to be doing Caravan. We're going to be doing Angelica, which we're going to listen to in a second. Prelude to a Kiss, one of my favorite ballads of his. And what is the other one? I'm spacing on it. Great Ellington tune. So there we go. So I hope that you can jump on a spot. I think we have 7 spots left. And as I said, it will really get your year started for you. All right. So let's jump into this tune. It's a cool sort of calypso vibe. It's with Elvin Jones on drums. So it's Coltrane's group. And Duke Ellington comping on piano, and Coltrane in really, really fine form, playing this very simple song. And by simple, I mean it's really a 1 chord, and then it goes to a 5 chord, and then it goes back to a 1 chord, and then it goes to a 5 chord, and then it goes to a 1 chord, then it goes to a 4 chord, and it goes back to 1 chord. Like it's the most dialed back harmony you can imagine. The bridge goes to a minor 4 chord, then to 1. Like it's really straightforward. So it's cool. And this song used to really kind of kick my butt because there's so little there harmonically to like, what are you going to do? Well, so, the answers are, first of all, you have to have a great melodic sense. And, that was one of my challenges at the time. Like I wasn't quite sure what to play. I wasn't hearing things. I maybe didn't have devices to use. So Coltrane gives a absolute masterclass here on what to do. And it'll be pretty fascinating to listen to Duke Ellington comping for John Coltrane. Let's jump into it. What a great groove. Elvin Jones, Jimmy Garrison on bass, Duke Ellington. This fantastic, beautiful, bouncy tune. Listen to Jimmy Garrison. So he does a nice little pedal there, but on the bass. Half note, quarter, quarter, half, quarter, quarter, half. Boom, boom, bum, boom, boom, bum. Really straightforward, really foundational, but it allows everything else to happen over top. Here's the bridge of the song. Okay, so we're hearing the cymbal for the first time. last A. And Elvin again off the solo, or off the cymbal, onto that drum groove. So just great orchestration from the trio right there. No Coltrane yet. Okay, this is the end of the melody. So Coltrane playing the melody a second time. And it's a long melody. It's wonderful to hear it twice. And they're staying with the same formula, same bass line, that cool little pedal section there, but this Elvin on the drums, and now hearing how Ellington is comping behind Coltrane. And here's the bridge. There's the cymbal. And again, orchestration from the drums back onto the drums off the cymbal. So Coltrane has that kind of heavier sound, but how it works on this melody works great. All right, so now we're swinging for his solo. Listen to Ellington's comping. Listen to the piano. No piano. It's trio. See, it's Coltrane's trio. Jimmy Garrison, Elvin Jones, Coltrane. Bridge. Some really classic Coltrane approaches and sounds. Okay. We hear a bunch of ascending sixths from Coltrane. It's a sound that he loved, and he uses it a bunch in this solo. Still no Ellington. Those lovely wide intervals. Coltrane being Coltrane, right? That sheets of sound approach. Sixths. Beautiful. And Elvin just going to town as only he can, right? Still no Ellington. Great melodic stuff from Coltrane. Is this the melody out? Sounds a bit like it. And there's Ellington finally. It's kind of between soloing and melody, isn't it? Yeah. It's really perfect how he's still soloing but hinting at the melody. Hard to do, hard to pull off. Bridge. Last A section, Elvin goes back to that orchestration across the drums. So fading out. Interesting. So I could tell, Coltrane on that fade, the band was fading out in the room. Coltrane eventually stopped playing, which left just the trio with piano, bass, drums. I could tell they were getting softer, but they were still playing the line. And then it was a board fade. So it was kind of both. So it was interesting. Maybe, they hadn't really thought of an ending, or they just decided, yeah, we'll play it, we'll fade it later, whatever the thinking was. Lots of times when I play that song live, I do a 3 times tag, and we kind of end on a long note. Lots of possible ways to do it. So interesting, right? So for one, Ellington didn't comp behind Coltrane at all, except for when it was that sort of more or less the head out, and he came in. So that musical decision to let those guys go and be them, right? And I'd love to know if there were other takes of this where, Ellington tried comping, or if he knew he wanted that open feeling. But it's really fascinating. And his comping on the melodies in and out are fantastic. We don't hear a piano solo, although Ellington took that chorus up front, that whole chorus of playing the melody. And we heard that wonderful Ellington approach to piano where he was, orchestrating things. And it wasn't just him playing the melody on the piano. There was so much more in his playing of it. Then Coltrane played the melody a second time. Coltrane solo. Coltrane played the melody out. So it was really, all train on this tune. And, hopefully you could hear me as I was talking. One of the things as I was listening to this the other day, getting ready to do this, is all those beautiful ascending intervals, and very often sixths. So if you think about it, let's just think in the key of C, a C triad. If you're playing the third of the triad in E, you can go up to the root of the triad, 3 up to 1, and that's an ascending sixth, a minor sixth, right? How about if you're on the fifth of a C triad, a G? The fifth up to the third is a sixth. So actually inside a simple triad, 1, 3, 5, there are 2 ascending sixths inside there. And then of course we can, play all sorts of sixths diatonically inside the scale or inside the tonality, and Coltrane was doing tons of that. But at this time in his playing, this was 1963 or so, we heard, this was coming out in his playing a lot, especially these ascending and descending sixths, to my ears, a hallmark of his playing. And it was, and the lesson here of like such a straightforward, and we'll just use the word simple, harmony, and how much he made from it, right? So what he brought to the table. So he wasn't relying on the changes to do the work. Maybe, composition of his, like maybe Moment's Notice or Giant Steps. If you just arpeggiate those chords, you sound like $1 million. You sound like you're playing all kinds of stuff. And you're not really. The changes are doing the work, and you're just kind of outlining them. That won't work here. You have to bring something to the table. So I think this is a fantastic example of Coltrane playing melodically, but we heard some hints of sheets of sound. Elvin just pushing him ahead. The vibe of the tune, or the emotion of the tune, starting with that light little bouncy calypso, and sort of where we end up and how we come back to that light bouncy calypso. I think it's fascinating. I love this. I could listen to this one forever. So I hope you enjoy it. And of course, this is the stuff, this is one of the 8 songs we're going to be doing at the Winter Summit. And this is the stuff that I'm so excited to dig in further. So players of all instruments. So really, we have players of all instruments except for drums. The setting that we're working on, drums, we would be excluding the drums in a lot of conversations. So we just don't have drummers attend. We have drummers attend our in-person workshops. We have 3 of them coming up, by the way, in Washington, D.C. in July, in Minneapolis, St. Paul in July of 2025, and in June, right before that, in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. So that's where we're working with everybody, including the drummers. So I hope you're going to get a chance to join myself, Steve Herberman, Chase Sanborn, and dig into this tune and really find some comfort with what's going on here. We've got some great electives. It's going to be a blast, and like I said, that how wonderful it is to give ourselves that time and space to think about jazz for 6 or 8 hours a day, a couple days in a row, 3 days in a row. It's a big deal. And of course, carving out the time, that's another thing. But to make that commitment and to give that to yourself would be a big deal. So I hope we'll see you with us at the Winter Summit. You know how to sign up. And if you have any questions, of course, reach out. All right, everybody. Take care. Have a great week. And Happy New Year. Happy 2025.